Hey guys, what's going on? Shaw here, and today we are going to be talking about actually one of my favorite things that Dragonflight is actually introducing to the game, and that is the redesign to the user interface. Now, it's talked about a fair bit, but I don't think it's getting enough shine for how much it's actually pushing the game into the modern era of MMOs. So I do want to set up a quick character really quick, just to kind of walk through everything that I really enjoy. Not everything, because there's so much to unpack, and it's going to obviously... I might make a second video if you guys enjoy me talking about it in here, but we're going to kind of go over the basics. So we're going to just set up a druid really quick. We're going to randomize this a few times and just kind of see what we're left with. I kind of like the look of this, so we're going to name this guy Shaw. Really? What kind of psychopaths? Oh my god. Fine, we're going to just go fucking the opposite direction. What's a funny name? Potato guy. Okay. We're fucking set. Alright, so we're going to be setting up this level 70 character. I'll eventually do testing on him, but until we see druid changes, I probably won't be doing too much, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to set up the interface. Now, something you're going to notice right off the bat is that it probably looks pretty normal, but if you start to kind of dive into everything that's really changed, it's actually really cool. It's going to allow for newer players to not have to rely on like crazy add-ons like LVUI or Bartender, and really do a lot of things in-game. And also with it being in the current game engine, it's very easy to set up. It feels very smooth. I love it a lot. A lot of external add-ons and tertiary add-ons are very like rigid when it comes to like customizing. There are a few things that I wish Blizzard would add. I doubt someone from Blizzard will ever see this video, but I will go over this in the next probably 10 minutes or so. Now, my ADHD brain won't be able to focus if I'm sitting here, so let's go to some place a little bit more remote. I guess we can go travel form. If you guys ever see a druid named Potato Guy, oh my god. Know that it's me. If there's someone named Shaw on this server, he's a fake. He's a fake. Okay, wait, there's no Thunder Bluff here, dude. Oh, shit. Dude, this looks fucking clean. Oh, that's gonna look good. Oh, man. Blizzard construction. Go. That's awesome. Okay. Anyways, sorry, I need to focus. Let's go to somewhere quiet, like we'll go Jade Forest. We'll hang out with the bear brethren. I'm a cow who identifies as a bear. It's 2022. You can refer to me as B-Bay pronouns. Cut that out. All right, so here we are. It's a little bit quieter. Now, there's a bunch of cool stuff. Like I said before, it's kind of hard to notice right off the bat, but let me point it out. So first off and foremost, the map has changed. I think it's a little big. I've seen some people's UIs who plan probably smaller resolution or smaller monitors, and the map takes up like a quarter of their screen. So I wish there was a way to scale this up and down. There isn't currently. I wish Blizzard would do that, but the map looks good, looks clean, looks very modern. Something else that's hard to kind of tell here is you have your typical buff. So let's apply Mark of the Wild. Maybe let's go into cat form. And now we have a couple of like relatively permanent buffs, right? Like these long duration buffs. This little arrow that you see up here, I'm going to try to zoom in. This is a collapsible thing, yeah. Like, that's so cool. That's so nice, because sometimes your UI gets cluttered with like 30 buffs because half of them are permanent. So right now I have Sign of the Emissary, Cat Form, of course, and Mark of the Wild. I don't know if there's anything else I can kind of throw on. Nah. But what is also really nice is that if you collapse this, it won't show, but it will show temporary buffs. So let's use Dash, for example. So Dash is still going to show here, despite it saying Mark of the Wild. But Dash is showing, and then eventually it will disappear. Same with Regrowth. So if I cast Regrowth on myself, boom, it's going to show up for a few seconds. I can also open this back up. It'll show everything else, but we can collapse it. Really cool. They also updated the unit frames. The unit frames, unfortunately, the targeted one is not updated. It's still the old one, which I don't know which one I like more. This feels more classic, but I think with the new update, like to the map and to the action bars down here, I think this one looks better. So hopefully they eventually update this one. They should. I think this is in their plan, but we'll see. But outside of that, everything else looks, pretty normal. They've updated this at the bottom to make it a little more modern. The Blizzard art, if you're an Alliance character, it's actually going to be the Griffin, where it is the Wyvern if you're a Horde, which is a nice little thing that I noticed when I was kind of creating different characters. All right, now here comes the meat. If we go into the game menu, they've collapsed options all into one page, which is super nice. The big thing is this edit mode. But before I go into edit mode, let's just quickly talk about some of the options. You have, this is all a little bit more structured, a little bit more categorized, which is really nice. Getting around from graphics, audio, languages, and network, but not having a separate fucking menu to be able to get to gameplay and accessibility. So big fan of this. We can go into controls. There's some things that they have kept, things like auto loot still here and the key. There's other things like water collision that still exists and all this stuff. But something that they added, which is super nice, is combined bags all into a single backpack. Now, if I uncheck this and come out of the game menu, you can see that this is how, you know, it used to look. But if we come back into the options menu and we go combine it all, it's going to look like your typical bag add-on, like Bagnon. There's a bunch of others, but I use Bagnon, so I don't know what the other ones are. Super clean. Now, the problem with this, I wish there was a way to check your alts similar to other bag add-ons, so there might be still a reason to actually use things like Bagnon. For the most part, like a brand new player, this is super, super convenient, especially once you start getting all these crazy bag spaces. Big fan of that. Something else that they added that I really, really like is actually going to be down here in combat. You have press and hold casting. Now, Wowhead has talked about this in articles. I'm sure other content creators have, but this is super nice because if you're a class that has like a weird filler rotation where you're casting, for example, like an Ellie Shaman casting Lightning Bolt for like 3 or 4 times in a row, or a Boomkin is probably the best example because when you go into like an Eclipse phase or an Eclipse cycle, you end up spamming like Wrath or Starfire for a long time. Now you can, instead of having to press, like for example, Wrath is on 1, instead of pressing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then like, you know, continuing your rotation, you can now hold down the keybind. You can take a sip of your coffee or whatever it might be. So in this case, if I hold down 3, it's going to keep casting Regrowth until I'm pretty much out of mana or until I let go. So I let go now, it's going to cast the last one. I would technically be out of mana at this point, but nonetheless, you can kind of press and hold, which is super, super nice. Now, I, of course, won't be playing with that because I like to work out my fingers for the after hour activity. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to options. Now, there's a ton of shit here you can go through and edit and adjust, but I really want to focus on setting up the UI in a way that makes sense, or what they've done to the UI elements that is what makes it, like what makes me very, very excited for this. There are a few issues with this, I will admit, but let's go back and go into edit. Boom. Kind of crazy to look at the start, but there are tons of ways to customize this. So first off, they added a grid, which allows you to easily line up, you know, your certain elements. Now, of course, there's no snapping that they've added yet, so it's kind of weird. So even if I like, you know, adjust this down and I try to like, it's really difficult to kind of snap. But what's nice is that because this is built in, you know, in the game engine, it's very smooth to actually move these and get them in line. I honestly like either snapping or like nudging would be amazing. So there are some add-ons that have been implemented, like, you know, you can get tertiary add-ons from things like CurseForge, which allows you to like shift arrow move things to like kind of nudge it up by a pixel, or a lot of you guys know weak auras allow you to nudge things as well up or sideways by a pixel. I wish Blizzard would add something like that. Again, I don't know how difficult that is to do, but that would make this very, very convenient. So we'll just drag the map back up into the corner. But yeah, the grid lines help you kind of make sure that things are in line with each other or are centered or whatever it might be. Now, there might be a snapping option, but I definitely don't see it here. These just enable some of the different things you can move around. So things like pet bar, buff frames, cast bars, of course. So let's just kind of go over a few things. I'm not going to go over everything because there's a lot here, and I'm probably not going to set up this UI in this video. I'll probably set it off, you know, off stream, off video, and then I'll end up testing it on stream. So if you want to see me play this character or other tanks live at max level through leveling in different dungeons, heroic, normal, eventually mythic, check out my Twitch. Cool. Back to the video. All right, so there's a ton of things you can do here. Obviously, like you can move your frames around, you can add cast bars underneath, you can come over here, you can add cast bars, you know, you can use large frames, you can add cast bars below, cast bars on the side, kind of convenient. You can click on the mini map, you can do the title underneath, above. That doesn't seem like a whole lot that's going on, but there's some other things that have a lot more to do. So let's come over here. We can use raid style party frames instead of party style party frames, which most players I think should play with because again, you don't need to see the character's face. You don't need to see their, like all of these like intricate little details, like the border. It's just so much easier to just make these full size. And then of course you can, oh, that is bugged out. Oh, it's because I also have raid frame enabled. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we can maybe like move this over here if we want to. We can move this down here. And now you're able to see kind of like their full health bar. You can add, you can make it taller, shorter, wider, narrower, which is really nice. You can use horizontal groups. You can have the border displayed if you really want to. I don't like playing with the border, but again, there's a ton of different things you could do here. The action bars. Oh my God, the action bars have so much here. You can edit how many rows there are, how many columns there are, the amount of icons, the icon size. You can make these super big or super tiny if you'd like to. You can do padding, of course, which is the spacing in between each of the binds. Super nice. And of course, you can have it always visible, in combat, out of combat, and hidden, which is all phenomenal. And then you can also, of course, make this thing vertical or, again, horizontal. And then you can go into quick keybind mode, which what that means is you can come in here and you can be like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just by hovering over the button, which most add-ons allow you to do this anyway, so it might be something that you're used to, but I think players who play with the base UI remember having to go into, you know, options, into key bindings, go to, you know, multi-action bar, coming down here, manually clicking, and then pressing like 5. And now this is bound to 5. Like, this is a very old school way of doing it. I'm glad that Blizzard has finally kind of updated exactly what they're doing here. So big fan of everything. Now of course there's still other ways to do that. Like, for example, when it comes to movement, like strafing left, strafing right, you can change all this stuff still through using this, but quick keybind mode allows you to quickly adjust your action bars on the fly. So everything about this new UI glow up is, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's so smooth. It feels so modern and clean. I'm glad Blizzard is finally committed to doing this for an expansion. And despite Dragonflight maybe being kind of shit or really good, at least we're going to come out of it with a clean, modern UI that we can easily adjust. That kind of puts WoW back up to the modern expectation of MMO interfaces. Now, there's a ton more I can talk about. I can go through like setting up my UI and all my keybinds and going through talent trees and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that here in this video. If you guys enjoyed me going over this briefly, please hit that like button and that sub button down below. It really means a lot for me and my channel. And if you want to see me do keys live, both on live servers and on beta, feel free to check out my Twitch down below. Huge shout out to all my Patreons who have given me their support with their actual real life money. It allows me to buy salami sandwiches. So hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.